Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here. I just recently made a manga collection video and now I've decided to do a comic book collection video. So this is basically all the comics I have that aren't manga. Most of it is going to be Marvel and DC superhero comics, but I do have some other stuff and I'm going to be showing everything in this video. Now, my comic book setup isn't exactly the prettiest. There's a lot of single issues, so that's why I'm just going to be moving them across in front of the camera as fast as I can instead of showing you the bookshelves, because otherwise you're not going to be able to see anything. And I'm going to try to make this video much faster than the manga collection. I'm going to try not to talk about every single issue, but here we go. As the title of the video says, I have about 270 comics, maybe a little bit more, something like that. I don't think it's as great as my manga collection, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. Subscribe, like, all that cool stuff. I'm going to show these off really quickly. These are just little poster things that I got from Comic-Con a few years ago, and I just keep them in my room, block the sun from touching my books. So I'm going to organize these in a few different categories. These first books are just volumes I have not read yet. So Manifest Destiny number 5 and number 7. Quick story about these. A girl in high school that I knew and had a crush on gave these to me, and I asked for volume 1. This was like a holiday gift swap thing we were doing, and she couldn't find them, so she gave me 5 and 7. I haven't read them yet. It kind of kills me because I want to read volume 1. I am interested in reading this series, but I've hung on to these it's been like almost 8 years since then, and I do have these. I think I still have her holiday note, but yeah, hopefully one day I'll be able to read these. Anyway, Batman 3 Jokers, number 1. Number 2, the Batman 3 Jokers trade-in. Batman Nightfall Volume 1. Really looking forward to reading all of these things. Then I have Stephen King's, this is the Dark Tower or Long Road Home. That's number 1. Number 2, there's going to be some glare. I'm sorry. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. This is a completed series. So those are all the issues that I just knocked my light a little bit. Sorry about that. So those are all the issues I have not read. Now, the next series I'm going to show you is Bone. I have the completed series in the color edition. I know you can get it in black and white. I love this cover, by the way. Bone is a fantastic series. If there's anyone out there that hasn't read it, this is issue 4, I believe. 5. I've read this series about maybe 2 or 3 times, and every time I look at it in my room, I'm like, I should go and read it again. This is issue 8, and this is issue 9. I think there are some side volumes. I have not read those, but yep, Bone 1 to 9. I'm going to pause the video and get the next step. Okay, so the next section is going to be newspaper comics, like comic strip, and I'm going to start with Pogo. I actually haven't read this. I just found this in my attic right before I shot this video, but the reason I don't have in the previous section is because I have this, and I have read a lot of Pogo comics. This is volume 1 and volume 2. Pogo, for those of you who don't know, was a incredibly influential comic newspaper comic strip that ran from 1949 to I don't know when, maybe the 70s or the 80s. It ran for decades, and it influenced Charles Schultz, who did Peanuts, Bill Watterson, who did Calvin Hobbes. Incredibly influential comic strip. And as an artist and as someone who loves comics and wants to draw comics, I feel like I need to know more about it. Maybe I can pick up the next set because they're reprinting all of Pogo in these giant big cases. I found this one in Providence, Rhode Island for like 20 bucks. So anyway, Pogo. Then speaking of Peanuts, I have Peanuts, Who's on First, Charlie Brown. They do have the completed Peanuts in nice hardcover volumes that I would love to buy, but those are just like 25 volumes. And then speaking of Calvin Hobbes, this is what probably got me into comics. I have all of these Calvin Hobbes books. Some of them have repeat issues because at the time I was in elementary school and I would just buy these books from the Scholastic Book Fair. Who remembers that? Just leave a comment if you remember that. Of course, my parents were buying these, and I didn't realize until after I bought them that some of them, as I said, contained repeat strips, but they're still cool. I pulled this stack that I'm showing right now, I pulled from my attic because I had realized that, oh, these have repeat issues and I can just keep one set in my room. So these Calvin Hobbes issues that I'm going to show you are sort of in order of earliest stuff to the final stuff. So this contains the very first issue. Then we have this one. You can see they're sort of bigger, thicker trade-ins, and they're really worn. I like to keep my books in good shape, but on the other hand, they're so worn because I love them so much. I read them all the time. This is, I love this title right here. Calvin Hobbes is just, in a way, part of my childhood. I know newspaper comic strips aren't really a thing anymore. I wish they were. I would buy a print newspaper if they were, but I don't know. It's Calvin Hobbes. I feel like it's had an influence on me. I can't exactly explain it. And It's a Magical World contains the final Calvin Hobbes comic strip thing. I know there are nice hardcover completed collections. I highly recommend you read Calvin Hobbes. Now let's get the next stack of comics. So this video might be longer than I had hoped, but whatever. So this next stack contains a lot of random comics that I've picked up over the years that aren't Marvel or DC. At least I hope these are Marvel or DC, or else my title's wrong. Deadeye Western, God, just glaring this, Western Comics. Quick story about this. I was at Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con 1 or 2 years ago, showing artists my work, and an artist said to me, you should look at old comics from the 40s or 50s. I forget why he told me to do that, what he thought I could learn from it. I forget what his reason was. I think I wrote it down. But so I went around and I eventually bought this because this was from 1940s, 1950s. I don't know if it was printed back then, but certainly the art style and the story was from that time. Vampirella, Roses for the Dead. I'd like to read more of this character. Invincible Red Sona, #1. I think this is a currently running series. I would like to get more of that. No idea where I got this. Free Comic Book Day. I kind of want to read this series now. I think this was also given to me on a Free Comic Book Day. Not a huge Star Wars fan, just wasn't something I grew up with. No idea what this is. Berserk, I think that's how you pronounce it. My dad really likes Keanu Reeves. I'm gonna try to get him to read this. I think I'm gonna continue picking this up or try and get some more issues. This is something that my dad gave me a few years ago. I read this and then went and read the real book. This is a fantastic story, but also this is a fantastic adaptation of the novel, so I highly recommend it. There's a story behind this. This is book 2. I went to a local library. Walking Dead, the show was popular. This was a couple years ago. And I got the first 2 volumes to read. I'm like, oh, this is popular. This one's a comic. Cool. And I bring it back to the library, and they email me or call me, and they say, yeah, this book is damaged. You owe us $35. And I said, that's impossible. It came like that. I'm not paying you all this money. Long story short, they insisted, you're wrong. You damaged the book. So I managed to cut the price down by like $10. I gave them, I think it was like $25 instead of 35. And then they're like, okay, thank you. Here, you can have the book now. Whatever. I haven't read any Walking Dead since. It's not really my thing. This is technically a manga, but it's an American manga. I bought this from New York Comic Con, I think all the way back in 2011 or 12, something like that. This was in my attic. I went through my attic getting old comic books I don't remember, like this one. I'm sure I read this. Couldn't tell you what it's about. I guess if you want to see the back and see for yourself. Here's a very good comic book. Just like with Barefoot Gen in my manga haul or manga collection video, this is a great read, but it's not a fun read. I highly recommend people read this just in general. Just this should be taught in school. Very incredibly important comic. On a lighter note, Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Promise. These are fantastic. This is part 2 of The Promise. Amazon sent me the wrong book, so now I have 2. Cool. I need to read more Avatar comics. This is The Search. I have the first 2 Avatar comics, and then I have the rest of Korra, all the Korra comics that are out. It's the Turf, what's it called? The Turf Wars. That's part 2. God, this glare is killing me. This is part 3. Yeah, so I need to find time to get the rest of the Avatar comics. I love the show. I held off on reading the comics for a number of years, and I'm so glad I started. At least they're all out now, so I don't have to wait for them to be printed. I hear they're making another Korra comic. Excited about that. Persepolis. I got this for free. I was in like Cape Cod and with my family on vacation, and my dad, there was like these free like library things, just little boxes around town. And my dad was out for a run or walking the dog, and he came home with this, and he goes, "Henry, comic book, read it." And really good. I know there's a sequel to it. I would like to get that at some point. This is an absolute Bible if you're into comics, particularly if you want to draw comics. I highly recommend it. I keep this at my desk just sort of so I can refer to it. I know he has other books too. I'm not interested in reading those. I don't know. I just feel like the original is as best it's going to be. Then Mark Crilly. I hope Mark Crilly's watching this video. Huge fan of his YouTube channel. I've read his other series, Mickey Falls. I've read some of his Akiko series. I think that's what it was called. I have not read his drawing lesson book. Maybe I should. My local library had Mickey Falls and some of his other stuff, so I don't own them. And then Mark Crilly's latest book, My Last Summer of Cass. Absolutely loved this book. I mean, as an art student, as you know, someone who studied art in college, like I related very strongly to this. This is my favorite thing that Mark has ever done. And next stack. So the next books I'm going to show you are from the brand Xenoscope. This is Robin Hood. This is actually autographed by, I think, the writer, the head guy. Xenoscope is a very weird comic book company. And I actually discovered them a few years ago when I was at a garage sale down the street, and they had all of these comic books, and I bought all of these from the garage sale. So I knew nothing about Xenoscope at the time, but these are the issues that I got. As I said, garage sale. I believe they were like 25 cents each or something. Honestly, all the Xenoscope comics I've read have not been very good. There's actually one here. I don't know if I've shown it yet. Haven't been paying attention. That I thought was pretty good. Maybe I did show it. Whatever. But for the most part, I think they're just like doing these sexy covers, and part of me kind of likes that. I'm a fan of Tula Vrew and shit like that. This series, Barmaid, 5-issue series from I don't know what year. It was kind of decent. But yeah, as I said, they just do a lot of like sexy pinup covers, and the story inside is, I think, kind of bland. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. Maybe there's better stuff out there, and I've just been reading the wrong series. So I have the complete Barmaid series. The garage sale had all of that, so that was pretty cool. This is Wonderland or something. I don't really know. I'm just kind of flying through these. The one I showed just a second ago, the actual trade-in that I got from Comic-Con, that I don't know, that was one of their newer things. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of I like reading comics. I don't know what to talk about here. I'd be interested to know in the comments section if anyone is into Xenoscope comics, if anyone knows of any good ones, or whether they just read them for the sexy girls. I mean, that's honestly why I sort of picked these up at the garage sale, because I was like, ooh, that's kind of pretty. I keep them all in this giant like Nook box. Are Nooks still being made? Anyway, next up, I have a bunch of Simpsons comics. I have no idea where these came from, but maybe my brother was buying them. I don't know. I like the Simpsons. I've never really watched it a lot, but when it's on, or occasionally when I find time to watch it, I enjoy it. Some of these are pretty funny. It'd be cool to draw a Simpsons comic. Now, speaking of good comics, I have next few are from Alan Moore. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I actually didn't really like this too much. I think people really like it. It might be a 2-volume thing, so maybe I should get the second volume or find it and read it. I don't know. Watchmen is fantastic. I was actually in sophomore year in high school, in like an honors English class, and for our we were doing like reading groups. I forget what they called it. But this was one of the books that you could read in the group, and I was like, a comic? Oh my God, you are the coolest teacher ever. And no one else in my group seemed to appreciate how great this was. It was my first time reading it too. Watchmen's absolutely incredible. I have before Watchmen, Ozymandias and the what's the pirate? The Crimson Corsair. English is my native tongue. Just want to point that out. There are probably a couple more issues that before Watchmen maybe I should read, like the Rorschach one. I'm sure that's excellent. And then V for Vendetta. There's another Alan Moore one that From Hell. I think that's it. It's like 600 volume or 600 pages. I've wanted to read that, but I've never been able to. This video is going to go on longer than I thought, but I'm kind of enjoying myself right now. I hope you guys are too. Okay, so everything else from this point forward is going to be Marvel and DC classic superhero stuff. Rise of Ultraman. I think I showed this off recently. I think I talked about it. Amazing cover. I really liked it. Have the trade-in right here. I know there's another. I think the Trials of Ultraman is running now, or maybe it's been completed. I want to get that. Hulk. This is a Hulk issue I found in my attic. As I said, digging through my attic. Do not remember what this was about. No, I read it years ago. The Immortal Hulk. My friend was telling me to get into this series. He's absolutely correct. Need to buy more of this. All the Alex Ross covers are amazing. Then I have these 75-year books. I have The Joker. I absolutely love these 75-year books. Batman. This one has a little bit of water damage. It's a long story. I'm going to tell it anyway. I was trying to come home from college. I was trying to run to the train station, and it was snowing. This was like going home for spring break, but like it was in February or early March, and it was snowing really badly. And I get to the train station, and all the trains are canceled, so I had to. I was able to stay that night and go home the next day. It wasn't that big of a deal, but all my stuff got really wet, including this book and some volumes of manga. I don't remember which ones, but this was like the worst part off. And one of my friends, texted this to one of my friends, and he said, dude, the fact that your comics got ruined is the worst part of the story. Forget that you missed your train and have to stay another night here, but your comics being ruined, that sucks. Then I have Wonder Woman collection of 75 years. I know there's the Flash, Justice League, Aquaman. I want all of them. Maybe not all of them, but I want more. There are more of those titles that I'd be interested in. Now I have a bunch of like random Marvel, DC stuff. Batgirl. This was back when I didn't really understand how comics worked. I just walked into a comic book shop and picked ones that looked cool. Death of Superman. This isn't so much random. Excellent comic. Influential. I think it's influential. Yeah, I don't really remember where these random comics came from. I know this is from the Forever Evil villain covers. I bought a bunch of the villain covers, even though most of them were subpar. This actually isn't a villain cover. This is just issue 40. I do like the New 52 stuff. This was a terrible issue. Cool cover, though. Wonder Woman, New 52, Volume 40. I have a lot of New 52 stuff. I think that was when, I don't know, it just always seems like a good jumping on point. And some of this stuff was very good. Forever Evil #1. And then I have the trade-in. The actual, it wasn't bad. I thought it's okay. This Wolverine thing, this is probably one of the first American comics I got. And then I have this Wolverine one-shot, Debt of Death. I feel like this might have been made into a movie, or there was a movie. There was a Wolverine movie where this comic was used as part of the plot of the movie. Either way, this is really good. I think my dad got this for me years ago as like a present or something. He knew I was getting into comics. And then Arrow. This looks like a manga, but it's an American comic. Super psyched when I first got it. Not really super interested in getting more. Next stack. I don't really know what to call these next groups of comics. These are sort of like, this is like Absolute Carnage, Venom stack. This is Absolute Carnage Scream. I got these recently. I didn't know they were several years old. I wouldn't mind reading more. This Venom issue, I don't know, or this Venom series was kind of okay. Don't really know what to say. That's kind of a cool cover right there. I don't remember how good this issue was. Absolute Carnage #1. I really want to pick up the rest of this series. I think it's a few years old, but I think there's like 5 issues out, but my comic book store never has all 5, or never has number 2. Okay, now I'm on to Daredevil. Daredevil is one of my favorite superheroes out there. I don't know where I got this. It's another random issue. Then this is Frank Miller's Daredevil, the trade-in. I would like to get more of these volumes. I actually met Klaus Johnson at Comic-Con. He was nice enough to look at my art. Some very good advice. He was also very harsh with his criticism, but that is kind of a highlight of my Comic-Con adventures and maybe even my life, just having him review my art. And it was a whole line of people, and he was still nice enough to take a couple minutes and look at my art and tell me why it sucked and why parts of it were okay. Maybe I'll meet him again at another Comic-Con. I'd like to go this year. I don't know if he's gonna be there. Yeah, so these are just some more Daredevil things. I think I showed these off recently. I bought them recently. I forget what videos I've made. Now, these I've had for a long time, but this Marvel Knights Daredevil run, I don't know who the authors are. Oh, these guys at the top. You can pause the video. This is absolutely fantastic. I'd love to go back and get more of this Daredevil run. The art is fantastic, and what I remember, the story was also fantastic. Absolutely love Daredevil. So next we get to Spider-Man. Not quite my favorite superhero, maybe second favorite superhero. Massive stack of Spider-Man comics. This was a free comic book day doohickey. Here are a bunch of random things. I don't even remember, where did I buy these things? This is like a flip. This is a flip book. There's a cover, like two books in one. I don't really understand it. I'm sure I've read these, but I haven't opened these in years. This is something I got recently. This is like a collection of short stories that just kind of expands the Spider-Man lore. Ultimate Spider-Man #2. I have not read a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't know if it's still going on. I know it was popular. Then this is, I think, trade-in #13. I have 2 and 13. I believe I got this from my library used book sale, so that's why it's so damaged. I might have gotten this one there too, but this one is in much better condition. Then I picked up these at a comic book store years ago, and I got these because my strategy is to look for series or look for issues, not only that interest me, but they have issues that are like consecutive. And this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man had 4 issues that were consecutive, and it looked kind of cool. Then I have Spider-Man and Red Sona. Can I quickly show the 4 issues in here? Yeah. Oh, there's the second one. How many issues? That's the 4th, and this is the 5th. I'm not going to waste time in putting them back in there. Then I have Essential Web of Spider-Man. I need to get more of these Essential books because they cheaply print old past series, and I actually kind of like the black and white art. I would say I prefer it. Now this is new, the new Amazing Spider-Man run. I'm sure I've shown these off in a recent manga haul or comic book haul video. I've gotten some subscriptions twice in my life, or Marvel subscriptions twice in my life, and this was one of them. So these all came to me in the mail, except for these weird LR ones. Those I didn't get in the mail because for some reason Marvel thinks we don't want to read them. So I had to buy some of these. The ones with the backing I got at my comic book store. I didn't get 53 for my subscription. Marvel just didn't send it to me. Yeah, maybe that's why I canceled my subscription. No, that's not why. I just wanted 1 year. I got a good deal, and I was like, well, why not? I hadn't read a Spider-Man comic in a while, so. This Last Remains arc, I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't really understand the Sin Eater at the beginning because it sort of jumped in at the very end of that arc, but I don't know, I enjoyed it. I'm interested in the next arc, so I would like to at some point go back to my local comic book store or just grab some more issues online of the stuff that happens next, because I think it's going to go back to the Sin Eater, back to Kindred. This was a very sweet issue. I really like this issue. Now, in this giant shoebox, I have the complete run of Superior Spider-Man, and I'm crazy, and I'm going to try and fly these across the camera, all 32 issues. But I want to start with these. These are, I don't really know what these are, but these are old Amazing Spider-Man stories, like way back from the 60s. And my friend gave them to me. It was like a friend of a friend, and I don't know. I guess it's a collection series at the top. Like these aren't like original issues, but they're still kind of. I mean, they're still cool. Then I have very few. I mean, of the older sort of run of Amazing Spider-Man. I don't have many of those issues. If you know, it's the Amazing Spider-Man sort of stopped at 700 and went to Superior Spider-Man. I kind of like this cover. So this is the lead-in to Superior Spider-Man. Right here. I don't know what you guys thought, but I absolutely love Superior Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man 700. Amazing issue, amazing cover. It's probably not worth a lot because I think everyone went out and bought it because Amazing Spider-Man's ending. And then I was talking to buying this because I thought, oh, the comic book store said, oh, it's going to bridge the gap and you need it. And now I know that when they say you need a tie-in, you don't really need it. So I kept this newspaper because I was on vacation and my dad showed this to me. Again, we were in Cape Cod, and my dad said, Henry, they're talking about Spider-Man. And I immediately decided, Dad, I need to get a Marvel subscription. I need these series, these issues coming to my house every single day. This is going to be a longer video, but I don't know. I'm having fun. So this is going to be every issue of Superior Spider-Man. Maybe this was stupid to show off every single issue. Maybe this video is going to be longer than my manga one, because I wasn't showing off every manga cover. Maybe I should do that. There was one alternate universe thing. This is 6AU for Superior Spider-Man. It's kind of weird. I'm hoping you guys can see the covers. That's why I'm sort of tilting them to the side to get rid of the glare. Maybe I could just have a better setup, but I don't know. I'm not a very good YouTuber, and I don't know. I'm just trying to focus on getting these out of the box as quickly as possible. If anyone watches this entire video, thank you so much. That would make me really happy. I don't even know if I would watch this entire video if someone else made it. Maybe I would. I don't know, if someone as handsome as me was making videos, I'd probably watch every single one of them. I'm not showing the numbers. Maybe, hopefully you guys are counting. Okay, these next two are kind of interesting because I had them autographed by, what's his name? Delgado down at the bottom. I believe he was the colorist. This was another thing that Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, he autographed that one too. Same guy. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I should just say I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, which I know is the Comic-Con. So every time I mention Comic-Con, think New York City Comic-Con. I don't remember the name of that villain. Then there was this whole Venom thing, Superior Spider-Man. As I was saying, I thought Superior Spider-Man was great. I know it angered a lot of people. I don't care if the story is interesting. I don't care if you kill off the main character. I don't care what you do, as long as it has an engaging story. And this definitely had an engaging story. I think the writer's name is Dan Slott or something. I thought he did a fantastic job on this entire run. I don't want to give away spoilers, but it's been years since this series ended, so I don't know, maybe I can talk a little more freely about it. And here is the very final issue. I have it in cardboard because I want to protect it, as if this is going to be worth something. And then I just kept my subscription, and Amazing Spider-Man started back up. I don't think this is connected to the previous Amazing Spider-Man stuff. I think the numbers have changed. I don't really understand it. That's why I sort of prefer manga. Like, there's no weirdness in the numbers. I was looking at these earlier in preparation for the video. I don't know if that original sin is connected to the Sin Eater from the new Amazing Spider-Man arc. My guess is it doesn't, but there's a lot I don't know about American comics. Oh, my shoulder hurts from doing this. And I don't even get paid to make these videos. I am hurting myself for your enjoyment. I'm just rambling. Yeah, so I stopped at this point. I don't know, I just kind of got bored of it. I had a lot of issues with the story, and I was frustrated, and I thought, you know what? No more, but I do have more stacks, so stay tuned. Okay, where were we? More New 52, Harley Quinn. I kind of enjoyed the Harley Quinn series. I have the first two. I would like to get more. I just thought it was, to quote one the back of the book, it's irreverent, and I just thought compared to everything else, it was super funny. Aquaman New 52, 0 issue. Aquaman New 52 was probably the favorite New 52 that I read. I think he is super cool. just based on this Aquaman right here. And I only have the first 3 trade-ins, and I think there are 6 out. I know once Jeff Johns gets off the run, it becomes terrible. That's what I've heard. But I think I still have 4, or I think 2. I think 2 more of the trade-ins I think have Jeff Johns on them. So I'd like to get that. I'd like to get all of them. I just spit. Okay. Yeah, but I absolutely love Aquaman. I'm gonna make this video longer just to talk about how cool I think he is. At least this new 52 Aquaman. And I had to get these villain covers here. The black Manta villain issue is actually really good, and actually directly links into the main Forever Evil storyline, compared to some of the villain titles, which are just these weird like standalone things that kind of suck. Batman is coming up next. Okay, so this is my Batman stack. Batman is my favorite superhero. I just like characters that have a chip on their shoulder. That's why I really like Naruto. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that says about me. So here's just a random issue. I think this is in Nightfall, because I think I was flipping through that and I saw this cover. I don't know where I bought this. Black and white. As I said, I like black and white art more. That's just me. I showed this off at some other point. This is some variant that was limited. I forget the guy's name. That was limited to like 10,000 copies. Again, it's probably not worth that much. Dark Victory, sequel to Long Halloween. Long Halloween's incredible. I don't think I've read Dark Victory. Dark Knight Returns. I have the Dark Knight in a few volumes down. I'll show it in a second. The Killing Joke, absolutely incredible. Maybe that should have been with the Alan Moore books. So Dark Knight Returns, I do want to say, as Frank Miller is hit or miss for me. I think he did like 300 or something. I could not get into that. I do not like this as much as other people do. And my basic thing is, when this came out, it was brand new, or like obviously it was brand new, but people had never seen a dark superhero, a dark comic. And I just think that when I eventually got into comics, or by the time I read this, I didn't read this until college, so just 3 or 4 years ago. And at that point, I had read dark comic book stories, some in manga, some in American comics. So to me, it wasn't brand new. Like I was like, I have seen this before. And I think while at the time this was revolutionary, I don't think it holds up in that respect. It's still a great story, and I recommend it. I just don't. That's just my 2 cents. And also, I'm just not a huge fan of Frank Miller's art, and he does lots of tiny panels with lots of words. And again, just me personally, I just don't like that as much. Like, as I said, Frank Miller is hit or miss. And speaking of a hit, Batman Year One, I think is incredible. I think this is one of the best Batman stories ever written. I absolutely love this. Maybe one of the reasons I love it is I don't think Frank Miller did the art. I believe the art was someone else. I'm almost positive about that. I'm sure about that. But point is, this is my Frank Miller Batman story. Like, this is the one I think is the best. But that's just my 2 cents. I've probably lost like 80% of my subscribers. So I really like these Batman Unwrapped books. There was no transition there. Batman Unwrapped books. Even though they're just selling the artist's pencils, again, as an artist, as someone who aspires to draw comics, I just find this super cool. Especially Greg Capullo. He's the pencilist. His artwork is just amazing. And I also have the Death of the oh god, this doesn't want to show up. Death of the Family one. Again, I think his pencils are just amazing. I don't have, aside from these 2 books, I don't have any of the Batman New 52 run, again, except for these. So I need to find time or the money to buy it. Then here are some random Batman issues. Again, I'm trying to remember where I bought these. Then this is a another of the villain cover thing. I always thought Two-Face was kind of cool. All the villain covers had this weird holographic version that DC was really hyping. I don't know if it's coming across on camera because of the glare, but it's just so obnoxious. And I really wanted the Riddler cover because I thought the Riddler would be kind of cool, I thought the issue would be kind of cool. It wasn't, but they only had the stupid holographic cover, and I don't know, it hurts my eyes. I don't think it's that cool. Probably didn't show up on camera. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Another villain cover. Batman just has some of the coolest villains. So then, in addition to Aquaman, the other new 52 series I really got into was Batman the Detective Comics, and I'm really behind in buying American comics just in general. I go through phases, whereas I'm always buying manga. So I have, just like with Aquaman, I have the first three trade-ins for Batman Detective Comics. I'd like to buy more. I don't think it's as good as the Aquaman one, but whatever. And then I have some more Villain of the Month, Villain of the Cover things. Scarecrow, Man-Bat. I didn't even know this villain was a thing until I saw this cover. And then Batman Detective Comics. And the very last stack, I brought it over here so I don't have to do another cut, is The Flash. Random issue. Where did I buy these issues? Then I have The Flash by Mark Waid. This is book one. This is like a writer's run on Flash, and this is the Wally West version of The Flash. I remember this being pretty cool. I like the Flash. Then I have, no, I didn't know that. Okay. So then the last comics for this haul was my single issues of the Flash New 52, one of my favorite New 52 issues. I absolutely love Francis Manapul's art. As you can see, this guy, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, he signed all of my single issues. I have the first 8. I've only read the first 8. That's all I have. I need to buy the trade-ins for the rest of these. I think this was a variant cover, but it was just really cool. As I said, I think The Flash is amazing. I watched some of the Netflix, it's not a Netflix show, but it's on Netflix. I watched some of the Flash show. It wasn't really my thing, even though I love The Flash. I just don't like time travel stories or alternate universe stories. It was still good. I just wanted to watch some anime instead. And issue number 8. This is all I have of Flash New 52. It's such a shame given how much I love it that I have not. I'm always like, well, let's buy more manga instead of this. And I have some more Villain of the Month covers. These Flash covers, I don't remember if the issues were good, but they're kind of stupid because Flash is literally, for all the villain covers, and there's like 3 or 4 for Flash, he's in the same position, just on the ground, helpless. Batman covers are different, like Batman's in different positions and there's a glare on the screen, whatever. And then the final issue is this random Flash thing that I bought. There were a couple random issues that were in the 40s. I think I was at a train station coming home from college or somewhere, and they just had a bunch of comics in there, and I just, that's the sound I make when I buy stuff. Am I funny? Did you guys laugh? I really hoped you guys enjoyed this video. Much longer than I anticipated it was going to be, but maybe I should have expected that when I'm trying to show 270 plus covers. But again, I had a lot of fun making this. I hope you guys watched it. If you watched even 10 minutes, that would make me happy. What other videos would you like to see? Whether they're art videos, I know I need to make more of them. I have this idea of showing my Shonen Jump titles. I showed those off in the manga collection video, but just the spines. Maybe I could show the covers off and just, ramble on about manga. So just leave suggestions in the comments, use your keyboard and type. Thank you guys for watching.